Hello, and welcome to our friends in Australia and New Zealand. We're excited you're joining us for In Pursuit of a Cure, Investing in Progress, Believing in Hope. I'm Michelle Davis, Executive Director of the International Fibrodysplasia Ossificans Progressiva Association. You may know us better as the IFOPA, or as some may say, IFOPA. FOP is an ultra-rare genetic condition that causes the body's soft tissues to turn into hard bone. FOP progressively restricts movement until the body is eventually imprisoned in a second skeleton. It is devastating and life-altering. For the IFOPA, individuals living with FOP and their families are at the heart of all we do: research, education and support, advocacy, and awareness. It's all done with the vision of a world without FOP. Our inaugural In Pursuit of a Cure event last year has already led to promising advancements in gene therapy for FOP and expanded our Act for FOP drug development grant program. This is wonderful news, and tonight we'll be sharing with you a quick overview of the progress the University of Massachusetts team has made and what's in store for phase 2 of their research. You'll also get an overview of what some of the researchers who have received Act for FOP drug development grants are working on. But perhaps even more importantly, you'll meet families and individuals living with FOP and see why it's so important that we don't waste a single second in building on the momentum currently underway. The IFOPA is incredibly grateful to our FOP families, donors, and research partners for bringing us this far. The progress being made and the treatment possibilities being explored are exciting. Your support allows us to continue this groundbreaking research to bring treatments and one day a cure to this truly resilient community. Now I'm excited for you to meet some of my youngest friends living with FOP. They'll inspire you to join our FOP community in investing in progress, believing in hope.
I have FOP, but FOP isn't me.
There's more to me than FOP.
There's a lot more to me than FOP.
I'm Ida and I am great with a hula hoop.
I'm Eli and I'm a good friend.
I am Kushi. I like helping animals and I like to do arts and crafts.
I'm Kenny and I like to sing.
I'm Liam, and I like to play basketball.
I'm Nayeli. I'm funny and I like to play video games.
I'm AJ and I'm kind.
I'm Chevy and I'm good at taking care of my dog.
I am Samson and I am good at Lego.
I'm Savannah and I'm good at spelling and I love reading.
I want the world to see me, not FOP.
Because there's a lot more to me than FOP.
My name is Samson and I'm 6 years old.
Samson is his own personality. He's loud, he's wild. He always seems to have a little twinkle in his eye, like he knows something that the rest of us don't know. When he's happy, everyone around him is happy.
He's 100 miles an hour. He hasn't stopped kicking his legs since the day he was born, and there's no slowing him down.
When Samson was born, we noticed that his big toes on his feet were curved. I actually Googled baby bunions, and I saw FOP, and of course, I was devastated. Jason just kind of assured me that that's not what it is, so I tried to put it out of my mind. We had an appointment with an orthopedic surgeon when Samson was around 3 months old. The doctor said, I want you to see a geneticist, and he still didn't say FOP, but as soon as he said that, I just had a gut-sinking feeling that that's what it was going to be. And then just before he turned 7 months old, we got his diagnosis.
It was devastating. I mean, for weeks, we were almost like in mourning. I mean, we were shell-shocked by it.
It's odd to describe those feelings as being in mourning, but you do mourn the loss of the life that you thought your kid was going to have and that you thought your family was going to have. But Samson has been such a bright ray of sunshine regardless of what's going on with him. He just keeps right on going. He adapts to what he needs to do and just keeps on being him.
FOP means that you have more bumps than other people. My arm can't bend because there's a bone right here.
And that just happened very recently, back in April. He actually had an injury on his birthday and hurt his arm, and he was fine. And then about 15 days later, we sat down for dinner, and he couldn't bring his fork to his mouth. His arm would not bend.
It's just a constant reminder of, how little I can do to keep him safe.
An internal challenge for me is just trying not to worry every single day. Just finding that balance of letting my child be a child and protecting them. For Samson, I think the challenges are, now that he knows what FOP can do to his body, I think sometimes he feels a little down.
The hardest thing about FOP is I can't do other things that other people get to do.
Samson is very close with his brothers. It can sometimes be hard. He has recently mentioned Bubba has his sports and Huxley's about to start baseball, and I don't have anything that I can do. So it's been a little bit of a challenge to figure out other things that Samson can do. Having a treatment or cure for FOP would be the dream come true. If there is a treatment that can stop the pain that's involved with FOP, that would be life-changing for us.
Having a cure would give him, so much more opportunity in his future to live independently, to, experience all the other things that people hope for. And without that, it's just uncertain future.
If there was a medicine to treat FOP, I would be able to do sport, wrestle with my brothers, and go rock climbing.
My dreams for Samson would be to always know that who you are is more important than what you do. Who you are on the inside, that's the most important thing.
To be able to see how he's impacted other people and how people look to him, my hope is that he can continue to share that throughout his life, to be able to inspire others, to be able to just kind of shine his light in a way that give others hope.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us for In Pursuit of a Cure, Investing in Progress, Believing in Hope. I'm Candace Hickson.
And I'm Jason Hickson. We're honored to be your chairs for this event, and we're grateful the IFOPA is pursuing every road towards treatments and a cure. Since the day Samson was diagnosed, we have been sharing our family's story, and we've hoped to raise awareness for FOP and to also raise critical funds to help end this devastating condition.
As you've seen, we've been living with FOP since our son Samson was 7 months old, and this year has been particularly tough for our family. But the Hicksons are not giving up. We still have so much hope. Tonight, we are very excited to share the progress already made by the gene therapy research team at the University of Massachusetts, and we hope you'll join us and help keep this momentum going strong.
The funds raised through In Pursuit of a Cure 2021 will support new ACT for FOP research grants and fund the next phase of the promising gene therapy work that's already underway.
While it is great that we have good news to share tonight, we know there's still a long way to go. The road to treatments and a cure is filled with many challenges, twists, and turns. That is why we are so grateful to be a part of such a resilient and dedicated FOP community, as we all come together to invest in progress and believe in hope.
To bring you up to date on the advancements made in gene therapy for FOP, here's a quick update from our researchers at the University of Massachusetts.
In the Shim Skeletal Biology Lab at the University of Massachusetts, these scientists believe that gene therapy holds the key to curing FOP. They're working every day to prove it. Dr. Guangping Gao is a pioneer in the field of gene therapy.
For the disease such as FOP, there really at this stage no other treatment. Gene therapy is probably the solution or a critical solution for the disease like this.
For the monogenic disease like FOP, it might be one of the best candidate for gene therapy.
Dr. Jae-hook Shim and his team began investigating gene therapy for FOP 2 years ago. After their early investigation led to promising results, the IFOPA launched In Pursuit of a Cure and raised the funds needed to keep the research moving forward. With the IFOPA's grant funding, their work this past year has focused on 3 different approaches to treating FOP. This includes gene silencing, to turn off the toxic FOP gene, effectively blocking its role in converting normal muscle tissue into bone. Gene addition, which adds healthy functional genes. And gene replacement, which both quiets the FOP gene while adding healthy genes.
Those muscle cells were transduced.
The challenge for these scientists is determining the best way to deliver the therapeutic gene treatment to the right place so it can do what it's supposed to do: silence, add, or replace.
We already have technology for gene addition or gene silencing or gene replacement. But the problem is, if this gene therapy technology cannot go to the target tissue, and it's not going to work. So we always worry about what vector we're going to use.
A vector is the vehicle that is used to deliver the gene therapy to the body's cells. Dr. Jun Shi has been designing the vector for FOP gene therapy.
The concept of gene therapy is very straightforward. What we are doing is that we use a vehicle to deliver a therapeutic reagent to the cells. The challenge is that to develop the right vehicle that can go to the precise place you want them to go. The second is that you can fix the problem. I think these 2 major components are essential for AAV-based gene therapy.
AAV stands for adeno-associated virus, which has proven to be an effective vector or delivery vehicle for gene therapy. The results from this past year's work are encouraging to this team of scientists.
Our research progress is better than we expected. We found that our AAV vector, especially gene therapy vector for gene replacement, works really well in human FOP cells, FOP mice.
What we have done this year is, first, we accomplished this so-called proof of concept, or thresholds, for what we have seen the therapeutic effect in mouse model. That really kind of put us at a very different level of enthusiasm compared to a year ago, because now we know it will work. The question how we can make it work better, how we can demonstrate it's not only work well, but also safe. That's our next stage.
In addition to confirming safety and efficacy, the next challenges scientists will tackle include trying to deliver genetic material to suppress extra bone growth in adult mice after a flare-up, exploring gene therapy to suppress chronic FOP in juvenile mice, and attempting to correct the FOP gene mutation through gene editing.
There is a dream gene therapy drug, which is gene editing. If you put the specific sequence, so then they recognize that area, so then your adenine-based editor is binded, and then they recognize it, they correct it. So this is a beautiful, scientifically, it's the best one.
These scientists caution that there is still a long road ahead and many years before gene therapy will be ready for clinical trials in human FOP patients.
Research takes time, and particularly for this kind of a state-of-art, new next-generation medicine development, take a substantial amount of time and effort.
The motivation for these scientists to put in this time and effort goes beyond just the scientific advancement. For Dr. Shim, meeting families at the IFOPA's FOP Drug Development Forum had a profound impact on him.
After meeting with them, to find a cure for FOP became my calling.
When I imagine one day if the gene therapy vectors I develop can use to treat patients, to cure the disease, I think that will be the most impactful thing I can imagine.
Dr. Gao's message to families and patients living with FOP?
Just trust us and believe us. We will try our best to develop therapy as fast as possible.
With the help of IFOPA, we built up the best FOP research team. It's through extensive collaboration. We have top scientists in FOP, top scientists in gene therapy, top scientists in the muscle degeneration and traumatic HO all together. And we build up literally FOP Avenger team. And this Avenger team, I think, is gonna make best possible outcome. because we have everything best.
My name is Savannah and I'm 6 years old.
Savannah Jaylyn Porter is very bubbly. She is very energetic. She loves to make people laugh. She loves to make people smile.
I've always thought that she could be a person that could rule the world one day because she does have that can't quit, doesn't give up attitude. And so I had those dreams. I kind of still have those dreams for her.
I'm really good at soccer, and I'm good at being a princess, and I'm good at being nice. And those are my 3 things I'm good at.
When Savvy was little, she was into gymnastics, and she was actually great at it. So I could just see my daughter one day, in the Olympics, just out there on the floor, and I would be right there rooting for her. I'll never forget the day. It's one of those days that is always imprinted in your mind. August 28th of 2017. I was giving Savannah a bath, and I noticed a large lump on the back of her neck. We knew something wasn't right because it appeared out of nowhere. Savannah underwent several tests, lab work, MRI, biopsies. She was in the hospital over a period of 180 days, just not able to be diagnosed. Ultimately, in May of 2019, we did receive this diagnosis of FOP, Fibrodysplasia Ossificans Progressiva.
Kids look to you as a father to make sure they're fine and they can get through anything. So when you go through a period of you don't know what to do to help, it's tough.
It's hard having FOP because you can't do certain things, and you try to do them sometimes, but you just can't get it right.
She has her good days and her bad days, but her mobility in her upper body for a 6-year-old is not where it should be. She isn't able to get dressed by herself.
I think it is very unfair, and I wish that she could do all of the things that I do, because it's not fair.
Sanaya really is a great role model for her sister. She works hard, she takes care of her sister, and Savannah notices that.
I think psychologically, it's a big challenge to have a child with FOP. Savannah sees kids her age doing different things. Savannah sees her sister being able to do different things. So sometimes that independence, can wear on her, that she's not able to do things by herself.
For me, I believe one of the hardest part is the fear of progression. I will admit I am that helicopter parent. I try to let her be free, but I do worry. Even just a trip or fall that a normal 6-year-old child can have could cause bone progression, could cause her mobility to be fully lost.
Living with FOP, I constantly want to make sure my daughter understands that she can still do anything, she can be anybody, and she can have a big impact on this world.
Having a cure for FOP would be life-changing for my family. It would mean that Savannah would be able to just enjoy life without having to worry about being in pain, without having to worry about missing out on those activities that she should be able to do.
My greatest wish for Savvy is to have a cure, and for every single bone inside of her body to never hurt again.
If there was a cure for FOP, then I would just be so happy.
Hi, I'm Kyle Brinkman. When our daughter Sona was diagnosed with FOP at 5 years old, both sides of our family, the Brinkmans and the Madons, came together to create the ACT for FOP grant program. Accelerating Cures and Treatments is what the ACT in ACT for FOP stands for. Accelerating Cures and Treatments is the sole focus of this annual research program. Since 2015, when the program was started, $1.2 million in grant funding has been put toward global research into drug treatments for FOP, and the number of researchers interested in FOP continues to grow. There are now 22 funded ACT for FOP grants at 16 institutions and companies around the world. This progress has been made possible because we have been joined by others who generously contribute and help us spread the word about the need for more FOP research. We hope you'll consider joining us too. When you hear the stories of individuals and families living with FOP, it's clear we must pursue every path available to us in the search for treatments and a cure. The progress we're making in gene therapy doesn't replace the urgent need to also look for potential drug treatments. And In Pursuit of a Cure 2021 will help fund both gene therapy's next phase and new Act for FOP grants. I'm pleased to introduce you to some of our Act for FOP grant recipients. They'll give you a brief overview of what they're working on and how their work could potentially impact the lives of people with FOP.
My Act for Fop grant lets me look at new ways of trying to switch off the protein that causes Fop. I want you to think of it like a radio. There are two ways to switch off a radio. The first is just to switch the off button, and that's what we've been trying to do before, is find medicines that will just switch off the off button. So what we've been looking at with the Act for Fop grant is whether there are other ways that we can switch off this protein.
My Act for FOP grant allows me to study the therapeutic opportunities of a new drug that we found could be helpful for FOP. And now what we are doing is trying to analyze better what are the best doses, the best timings for giving the drug in order to stop bone growth.
ACT award allows me to study the interactions between the bones, tissue injury, and pain responses. What excites me about my research is that ACVR1 activation in neuronal cells might be a novel link between neurological disease and heterotopic ossification.
I am extremely grateful for all the support that we've gotten over the years for the Act for FOP awards. These have allowed us to perform critical studies to improve our ability to detect heterotopic ossification and discover new pathways involved in this process for people living with FOP.
As the father of a 12-year-old with FOP, I'm encouraged to see that there is research going on all over the world and that we continue to invest in new research every year. Now let's meet two very brave young adults who have FOP. They will share what their day-to-day lives are like, and you'll see what your investment in research means to them and to future generations of individuals living with FOP and their families.
My name is Erin Danzer and I'm 23 years old. I've always loved going to new places and exploring. When I'm out, I'm in my chair, and so I have to adapt to figure out a way to still experience it. The beach has always just been a really special place to me. I really miss going in the water, and I miss just the feeling of the sand on my toes. I was diagnosed with FOP when I was about 10 months old, but I was very mobile up until I had my hip flare a few years ago. The biggest challenge right now is just accepting my life the way that it is. People always talk about, you want to control your environment, and for me, I can't really control, what my body does. And so my environment is always changing. One of the things that I've learned about myself is that I always have to be distracted, otherwise I go into like a downward spiral. And so one of the things that I found passion in is just art. I love jewelry making. I also love crocheting, looming, so I've made a bunch of scarves. Writing has really allowed me to just express how I feel. Sometimes I share what I write because I found it really helpful and inspiring to read others' writing and what they're going through. And sometimes it's like, that's exactly how I feel, and you just put it into words. And so I like the idea of being able to help someone feel that same way with my words. When I got my service dog Pine, I gained like this independence back. If I dropped something, Pine could pick it up for me. Pine could open the door. Even in like having to pay for something in your chair, like I couldn't reach the register, but Pine can pay for me. Ever since I've had him in my life, I've felt way more independent. One of the issues with having a rare disease is nobody really knows about it. It's just incredible how far we've come and how many people now are allies to the FOP community, and the idea that we have so many drug trials already going on, that has really given me hope for the idea that maybe someday I might not have any more limited mobility. I might not have to worry about grieving another part of my body, another loss. So that's really my biggest hope.
My name is Joey and I'm 28 years old. I live in New York City and I'm a filmmaker.
Hey, I'm Joey Suits. I hope you guys are doing fabulous today.
I like to make films of my ups and downs of life, the good and the bad. You don't have to watch the bad if you don't want to, but I'm just gonna go with how I feel because I've always been quiet my entire life and I just want to talk about it. Tired of my disease, hurting me when it wants to. I was diagnosed with FOP when I was 4 years old. I lost my arms at the age of like 8 to 10 years old. My elbows refused. I basically woke up in this position. It didn't really hit me till around the age of 15 or so, where I realized I was really different and my body is transforming, and no doctor could help me in any shape or form. My position of my body had changed throughout the years. Sleeping is different, walking is different, doing basic tasks is different. They're different than from a year ago. And it's just a constant life of changes. I think what keeps me going is just curiosity of what the world can give me, because there's so much of the world out there. Welcome to Central Park. There's so much of the world I want to explore and experience, and I'm hoping I can experience some of it somehow. I'm a person that doesn't like to ask for help, but now I'm reliant on everyone to do everything. I lost the ability to swallow, so I have a tube in my stomach, so I need someone to come and feed me and give me juice or whatever. If I want to go to a different place, I need someone to push me in the wheelchair. I do video editing and I work on my computer. I need someone to help me to get into a chair, and then I need someone to hand me the mouse. And then once I'm situated, then I'm okay for a few hours. Everybody always wants to say, you know, you'll walk again and everything will be back to normal, but the truth is it won't be back to normal. Research is important to end one of the worst diseases to ever exist. Since my disease is so rare, it's actually amazing how many companies are interested and are actually trying to find a treatment for it. It's exciting what's happening, and there's like 10 different trials going on, but I don't think it'll be quick enough to help me that much. You know, I accept who I am and everything I've been through, but if I could do anything to stop the pain from happening for little kids, I would do it in a heartbeat, because they don't deserve to suffer.
I'm Samson, and whenever I grow up, I want to be a scientist.
I'm Naomi, and when I grow up, I want to be a veterinarian and a mom.
I'm Liam, and when I grow up, I want to be a sports journalist.
I'm Isla, and I want to own a gift shop.
I'm AJ, and I want to be a pro gamer.
I'm Savannah, and I want to be a doctor when I grow up because I want to help people. When I grow up, I want to be a paleontologist.
I'm Eli, and when I grow up, I want to travel the world.
I'm Shruti, and when I grow up, I want to be a scientist. I want to be able to drive a car.
I want to go to college.
I'm Kenny, I want to dress myself. I want to tie my own shoes.
I want to drive a car.
I want to wave my hand up in the air.
I want the world to see me, not FOP.
The IFOPA is making progress in FOP research.
The IFOPA is investing in progress.
Believing in hope.
Will you join us in pursuit of a keyword?
Please give so I can drive a car. Please give so I can be a veterinarian.
Please give so I can dress myself.
Please give so I can travel the world.
Please give so I can help the children and the community.
Please give because I want to wave my hands up in the air.
Please give so I can be a paleontologist.
Please give so I can drive.
Please give so I can grow up strong.
Please give so the world can really see me and not FOP.
Let's continue investing in progress and believing in hope. Let's create a world where not a single child has to live with the shadow of FOP over their future. Please make your gift to In Pursuit of a Cure tonight.
To donate, please visit ifopa.org/curefop. This is also where you'll be able to watch this presentation again and share it with your friends and family.
Good night, and thank you for joining us for In Pursuit of a Cure 2021.